my family came to Australia in 1972 when I was a small child, and my mother raised me and my two sisters as Buddhists. We became members of the temple in Stanmore that opened in 1975. When I got to university, I decided I should invest some time in studying my religion. So I read widely in Buddhist literature, and I became more disciplined in my personal practice of meditation and things like that. I had a conversation with a Christian friend of mine and asked him what it meant for him to be a Christian. And he said it meant he had lost control of his life to Jesus Christ. It was a very surprising answer for me as a Buddhist, knowing that part of my Buddhist practice was to exercise mental and physical control over every part of my life. He asked me if I wanted to read something, and I agreed to do that. My friend gave me Mark's Gospel and John's Gospel, and when I came to read John's Gospel a few weeks later, I was struck by the historicity of it. It was full of the truthfulness of places and people, and the picture of Jesus in John's Gospel was very engaging. He wasn't what I expected. He was a dynamic personality. He had friends and enemies. He engaged in storytelling, answering questions, and he had a mission. I found him a very intriguing personality. In John's Gospel, the writer John uses the phrase, "At this the people were divided." Jesus will do something, and people will divide in their response to it. And I began to ask myself the question, which side am I on? Why am I not on Jesus' side? Eventually, I couldn't think of a good reason for being against Jesus, and I decided to follow him. Well, when I decided to follow Jesus, naturally I began by letting my family and then friends know that I'd made that decision. It was difficult to tell my mother. I wasn't sure how she would respond. In fact, it upset her quite a lot. And I had to spend a lot of time persuading her that I loved her, that I respected her, and that I wasn't rejecting my Sri Lankan culture and background. It took time for her to see that I wasn't walking away from our family, but that in fact my love for God made me more eager to serve and care for my family than I had before. I want to encourage you to read a gospel, one of the New Testament books, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. They're the stories of Jesus' life. Have a look at who he is and what he does and what he says about himself and why he's come into the world. Ask the questions that you want to have answered, but open yourself to hearing from Jesus, who says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." When we come to meet Jesus, we know the forgiveness of our sins, and we become friends with God. We begin to know the love of God for us. I want to encourage you to investigate Jesus for yourself.